everyone, my name is Georgia Rotano, and this is my introduction to youth work little YouTube video. I'm a youth worker, full time youth worker based in Edinburgh, and I was just thinking I've only been at it a year, and I wish I had a video like this to help me in the starting process of becoming a youth worker. So I hope you find this video helpful. Just a little disclaimer, this is based for a Scottish context, so it'll be different if you live in England or abroad somewhere. But hopefully, you can take something away from this video and it does help. So, let's get started. The first thing about starting youth work is you think about, right, where do I start? What on earth do I do to become a youth worker? Start volunteering, definitely. I do realise it is unpaid work, but we've got to start somewhere. So even just volunteering at a local like after school club, or I started volunteering at a YMCA. Rainbows, girls, what do you call it? Girls' Brigade, Boys' Brigade, Cadets, Scouts, all those things. Um, and if you are looking to get a bit of money from youth work in the starting stages, you can also opt for sessional youth work. So it's kind of like a 0 hour contract. You just work when you can. So when I was doing sessional youth work, I would just work a Wednesday and a Friday night at a youth drop in, which was just 3 hours, 6 till 9. And yeah, I would get paid for it, which was really great. So if you can find sessional work too, that is also an option if you're looking to get money on the side as well as volunteering. I've put 2 years worth of experience down just because everywhere that I've been employed by has always said, have you got 2 years worth of working with young people? It's not just youth work. So before this, I was doing a lot of teaching, music teaching. Um, I've done a lot of community music, like running workshops in community centres with like primary school ages, high school, things like that. So it's just working with young people. 2 years worth of experience is really valuable, and it's not essential if you are going into a paid youth work job, but it is really good to have. I've put get a qualification, and it's not the be all and end all. Don't feel pressured or forced into it. It's just I've got a couple slides going forward that will show you if you do want a qualification where you can go for that. But it's just good to have under your belt and to get relevant training. Again, I'm going to talk you all through that. Just before we move on, I do have some resources on my Instagram that'll it's a introduction to youth work sort of starter pack. So you've got a session plan, a blank session plan, a blank evaluation, a blank my values page, a blank checklist. If you're starting youth work and what to go through, so like start volunteering, whatever I told you through, and there's just a couple more points that I put on that checklist I'm not going to talk about in this video, and a boundaries board. So if you are interested, my Instagram just is that little QR code. So if you need some helpful resources, I definitely say have a look at that little starter pack. Okay, let's get on with it. So, getting a youth work qualification. If you are interested, a lot of places, if you're going into full time youth work or even part time, they do ask that a qualification is there, even if it's just the one that I'm showing you here. So this is from Youth Scotland's page, and it's a ready for youth work, and it's a SCQF level 3, and it's the duration of 2 full working days, like training days. So it'll probably be like a 9 to 5, 2 of those days, or it's just 6 sessions online. So basically, you go there, you do a couple like training stuff, and I've not been on this one, so I'm not entirely sure if at the end they do a little test or anything like that, or if you're just getting knowledge. But have a little look through Youth Scotland's page. I will provide all the links down below to pages, to books that I'm going to reference, anything that you need. You think, oh, I would love a link to that, I will put it in the bottom of this video. So yeah, this is your very starting ready for youth work qualification. This is a good way to start, and if you've got this, a lot of places will be like, well, they've started somewhere, so that's really good. But if you do want to move on and get a professional development award, or known as your PDA in youth work, SCQF level 6. So correct me if I'm wrong. I think that's equivalent to a higher qualification. If I thinking about in school terms. This one is completed 6 days over 4 months, and this is a step up from the one that I just showed you. This one, my colleague done, and she highly recommends it. From what I've seen, it was either 3 or 4 unit assessments that you had to do for this course, and it would ask you a question, and you'd have a box to fill in. But this is after you've been given all the training, all the information. You do these little unit tests, so don't worry. There's no pressure. They'll help you through it. They'll talk you through it. So it covered things like how well do you know the area that you're working in, other youth settings, informal learning versus formal learning, things like that. Risks, like your risk assessments, your risk ladders, what are young people at risk of, your legislation, your youth work policies, um, and like core values of a youth worker, what it takes to be a good youth worker. So this, I'd really highly recommend this training for starting off youth work. Again, the link will be provided down below. Or if you are interested in doing youth work at university, this here is the course that I done at university. Bearing in mind, this course is a postgraduate, and that was the one that I completed. It just took me 9 months, and that was full time. There is a part time option as well, but in the links below, again, everything's provided below, there is an undergraduate one for this course, which is 4 years. And it's a community development course, but it does entail youth work and adult learning and all that jazz as well. So if you are interested in that, the links are below. Also, for this course, you obviously leave with a postgraduate degree, or you can do your master's, which is 12 months. And all you do is do your modules, have a placement of 480 hours. That's where I done my volunteering at a YMCA as part of this course as well. And the only difference between the postgraduate and the master's is there's a dissertation for the master's. And I want to say it's 12,000 words. So yeah, I can do a separate video on my experience of this course in more detail if you would like that. All the ins and out, what types of classes, what the workload was like, what did a day look like. So if you are interested in that and knowing about this course, I can totally do that, because I think at the moment in Scotland, this is the only youth work course that I'm aware of. I think there might be something quite similar in Aberdeen, but nothing in the Edinburgh area that I know of. So yeah, would highly recommend this course. So moving on to training now. I've just provided some places that give really great youth work training. So your Youth Scotland, which we just chatted about, your Youth Link Scotland. I always get these two confused. So there's Youth Scotland and Youth Link Scotland. Again, all the websites will be provided down below in the description section. You can just go on them. It takes you straight to the training pages. So yeah, Youth Scotland, Youth Link Scotland tend to cover all types of trainings. Fast forward, I want to say you can get digital training on as well, so like safety online, all things like that. Your LAYC, I want to say they're in partnership with the NHS as well, so they do all your trauma training, things like that. And Healthy Respect is a great Scottish training which provide like healthy sexual health, healthy relationships, and great stuff like that. The only tip I would say about these training, they do cost money if you're not already with an organisation or a charity. So I'd definitely start volunteering or get yourself in with a youth work organisation first. Just because they'll pay for it for you if they have a membership, or they'll pay towards it, which is really great. I got all my training paid for me, which was brilliant. Um, the thing, so for Youth Scotland, if you were to pay for it by yourself, I think for one training that lasts 2 hours or something like that, it's about £30. So if you think about all the training that you'll need, it'll kind of rack up. So definitely get yourself in somewhere first that you can, and ask if they have a membership with any of these ones. So, what training? There's so much training out there. What do you need for youth work? So, once you've, say, hypothetical situation, you've got yourself in with a charity or youth work organisation, and they've put you through a qualification with Youth Scotland. You've got the PDA or the Introduction to Youth Work, or if you're studying at university of any of the courses, and you still want the realistic training, what's really going to help you like on the job. These are the ones that I would recommend, highly recommend that you have. So your child protection, definitely, that needs to get done every year. I need to do mine in November, which is next month. Um, your GERFEC training. So if you don't know what GERFEC is, it's getting it right for every child. And this training is really important. It's not necessary, um, but it is just really great to have because it goes alongside Scottish legislation and Education Scotland as well, just making sure we're planning, preparing sessions that are really going to benefit the young people and their learning styles and all that jazz, all that good stuff. Um, so your child protection is the necessary one. However, the rest of them, like your drugs and alcohol, they're not necessary, but they are really good to have. Um, so yeah, your drugs and alcohol, your smoking and your vaping, you're trauma informed. I've still only got level one. I am looking to do my level two, but level one of everything is absolutely fine. Don't worry about, oh, you have to be like all level three and things like that. Just start off level one, and your sexual health and your respect one, which healthy respect are a really good one of. It's just great to have these in trainings, even if you're having a conversation with a young person in drugs or alcohol, or they're starting to be intimate with their partner. You at least have a bit of information there, so you can have that conversation, a confident conversation with the young person, and if they have all the advice to make good decisions. That's what these trainings allow. So we don't judge the young person if they are involved in these things. We're just here to give them good information to make good choices and keep themselves safe. So, for youth work reading, again, this is totally not necessary. The training, I'd say, is more necessary than the reading, but it is really good to have your frameworks and theory behind what you're doing. And it's also really good to read other people's thoughts, opinions, processes, all that jazz. Again, all these ones that I am going to talk about, I have linked in the description below of where you can get these books or find these websites and everything that you need to know. So, the first one, The Learning Theory Simplified, that is a book linked in the description by Bob Bates. This one isn't, it's relevant to youth work, but it's not necessarily just youth work. This is more tailored towards teaching. But again, because we're youth workers, we're informal learners, all that jazz. So we kind of are given education, but in like a cool way. Um, so the Learning Theory Simplified, it takes you through how people learn, how people get through a day, how they take in information and process it, and it goes from like really old-fashioned theories like behaviorism, and to where like if you do something bad, you get a smack on the wrist, and you'll never do it again, like sort of that old parenting style. Um, and then it goes to more modern approaches like constructivism. So people learning through experiences, people learning through each other, how to ensure that someone is learning, but you're not pushing them to the point where it's like a fight or flight where they feel like they can't do it and they can't achieve, so they're not going to learn. It's a really interesting book, and even has like behavior management and things in the back as well. Again, I can do a more in-depth video about this book, give you a little taster of it before you buy, so please let me know if you would like that. Moving on, the youth work practice. That's another book I've linked down below. I'm still currently reading this book, and it's really great because it takes you through yourself as a youth worker, like what to do, how to set good boundaries, how to be a good mentor, how to start building relationships and have conversations with young people. Because for me, my social battery goes up and down. Trying to have a conversation with like my hairdresser or something is hard. Never mind actually having to facilitate and talk to a young person when you're just getting to know them. So it gives you really great tips and stuff like that as well. It's linked below. The National Youth Agency website, the NYA, if that's a little acronym, if anyone hears that, it's a really great website. Again, it's got everything you could think about in terms of youth work. So, like your boundaries, trust in relationships, how to keep yourself safe, how to keep young people safe. It's linked down below. Have a read through it. It's got everything you need to know. And the last one, the CLD, so the Community Learning and Development Standards website. This, I would say, is the youth work Bible. This is in university. Everything we done, we linked it to this. So definitely the competencies, I think it's seven that's on there. So the knowing and understanding your community, um, promoting lifelong learning, there are some of the competencies. Really, really get to know them, definitely. So I've put a link down below if you need to look. Again, if you need any separate videos and more detail of what I'm talking about today, more than happy to do that. And yeah, that is everything for the introduction to youth work video. Nice, short, and sweet. How to get started doing youth work. Again, if you need anything in more detail, I'm more than happy to provide videos on that. And yeah, I have my resources on my Instagram if you would like to have a look at them, if you feel like you need something to start. Um, and again, I would love for this channel to be a supportive environment. I've worked with young people for 4 years, but I've only been doing youth work for 1 year. So I'm hoping this channel is here to help, and it can be a non judgmental space for people to learn as well as me. Like, if you have any advice, if you've been doing youth work for like 10 years, please comment down below with any useful information for everyone to read. I would love this to be a nice, helpful, respectful community where everyone can help each other because we're all still learning. I'm still learning. If you need anything else, please just leave a comment below, and thank you so much for watching. Bye!